Okay, I think that's everything with Iris. Oh! It's not done yet. That ledger that's open on the counter there really is enormous, isn't it? It must be an awful lot of work to keep track of all these hundreds of items in pawn.
It's too much to think about. Better to sell it all and have a clear head if you ask me.
But clearly, Mr. Windybank was very careful when it came to the articles in his care. And there's the door to the storeroom. That would be everything, right?
Behind that door is a storeroom, isn't it? That's what Grexy said.
Yes, and that's where I saw that dreadful scene last night, through the little window in the door. Mr. Windybank, face down on the floor, with Gina beside him.
As the accused's legal representative, you have the right to examine the scene, Mr. Naruhodo.
We must make a thorough investigation. Yes, of course, and we will. Behind that door, that's the real scene of the crime.
Don't worry, if there are clues in there, I'll find them.
Oh, Iris. That should be everything. Okay, let's move. Poor Iris, she's clammed up completely.
Iris is bound to find this difficult. After all, Mr. Windybank's life was taken in this very room only last night.
Oh, hello, Gregson. Wait, Inspector! What is it now, Sunshine? You took one look at me and tried to run away. You think a Scotland Yard inspector would run away from some jumped-up little defense lawyer, do ya? Well, I've never seen her ladyship looking like that before is the thing. I didn't know what to say to her. So you weren't running away from me, you were running away from a 10-year-old.
I'm afraid this is all a little too much for young Iris. Some gentle reassurance might go a long way, perhaps, Inspector.
Eh? Don't trouble yourself unduly, your ladyship. I mean, at least you're not dead, are you? That's not how this works, Gregson. I don't think that went very well. Why? Look, I'm in the middle of an investigation here, Sunshine, and I told you not to get out of my feet.
And we have investigating to do ourselves.
Yes. I'd like to hear more of what the socially inept inspector has to say.
Oh, Hurley.
And inquire into how Mr. Sholmes' operation is going. Shall we look around first? This is where the body is. The police have marked the position of the body with a chalk line.
Poor Mr. Windybank, he was a nice old man.
Maybe we can do the blood analysis thing. Well, he was shot just once through the heart. Most likely the fellow died instantly. He wouldn't have felt a thing. This must be his blood then.
Ah.
I don't like to ask. It's such a wretched time, Iris, but I wonder if perhaps...
Don't worry, Susie. I'm ready for action.
Blue.
So now we know the color the chemical turns when it reacts with Mr. Windybank's blood. And it doesn't match our analysis of the bloodstain we found in the main shop.
That must have been Sherlock's blood then, maybe.
No, but let's add this sample to the others we've already collected anyway.
Okay.
Iris? Don't worry, I'm alright. But we must find the true culprit. Yes, absolutely.
The murder weapon? This is a revolver, a real one.
And quite possibly the murder weapon used to take Mr. Windybank's life. What's the matter, Susie? You and Bruno look like you're about to faint.
Well, it's just that I've rarely seen a gun in the flesh. And I've had issues with guns in the past. But anyway, we saw Mr. Windybank with this yesterday, didn't we? Oh, this was Mr. Windybank's weapon? I've been able to dig my whole life. It must be the same gun. Okay, maybe. And last night, when I looked through the spy hole in the door to the storeroom here, that was the same gun I saw in Gina's hand.
Mr. Windybank told us that he only ever had a single bullet loaded in his revolver, didn't he? Well, it's empty now. The one and only bullet he had in his gun has been fired.
So we can be fairly certain that only a single shot was fired. From this revolver, at least. These look like paintings, canvases. Look at all these articles that have been deposited. The room is stuffed full of them.
I can't believe how many there are. A bicycle, a gramophone, musical instruments, even some enormous paintings, look.
Pieces of different people's lives, quietly gathering dust in here together. There's something very peaceful about the atmosphere in here. Or at least there would be, if not for the chalk outline on the floor and the policeman shuffling around. Not much I can do about that, Sunshine. What about this treasure chest here? This looks interesting. Out of all the articles in this storeroom, this is the only thing that shows any sign of being ransacked. What is it, Iris?
That's the box file that my manuscript was being kept in. Oh.
Iris's unpublished story, The Hound of the Baskervilles. Surely, that's not what all this...
Sorry, Iris, if you ask me, you sold it. Without telling ya. We must check inside the box at once. Yes. It was there. Iris' story was there.
Really, it was. Well, that's good news, isn't it, Iris?
Yes. I mean, of course I believed Hurley when he said he'd deposited it here, but still, it's a relief to actually see it.
Wait, but how does Susato-san know of the title then? Maybe Herlock sent a copy of the manuscript to Wilson in Japan? Maybe? Really? Because that's not a very well hidden frown. What's wrong, Iris? Shouldn't you be happy? The scene of the crime. So, Inspector, what do you make of the crime scene here? Pshaw! You've got eyes, haven't you? Use them! It is what it looks like, nothing more, nothing less. Iris, could you lend me a hand?
So, Grexy, what do you make of the crime scene here?
Oh, yes, Your Ladyship, do allow me to humbly explain. Last night, and shortly after the hour of 1 o'clock in the morning, Scotland Yard police attended the scene. The one and only door in the storeroom was found locked from the inside. So it was locked from the inside. A locked room murder, again.
The lock appears to be broken now, though. Was that the police officer's doing?
Quite right, ma'am, quite right. We took the liberty of smashing the door in as humbly as possible.
Oh.
As you can see, the victim was discovered prostrate on the floor, thus-wise. And next to the aforementioned body, we discovered the vile gutter child.
Are you talking about Jenny? She's my friend, you know, Inspector.
Miss Lestrade, the hapless girl was curled up on the floor, dead to the world. She's still alive, you know. Yes, when I saw her, she appeared to be unconscious. And I'm afraid to say she had the gun that was used in her hand.
No.
Presumably it's the gun that's still down there on the floor now. In her pocket we found a key to the door as well. What? The key to this storeroom?
And you say the storeroom had been locked from the inside, Inspector?
Correct. All of which leaves her ladyship's friend in something of a sticky situation, I'm afraid. Obviously, my personal opinion is that it's all some sort of misunderstanding. Yeah, right. Of course it is, Inspector, of course.
Grexy, do you know anything about Hurley? Is the operation finished? Is Hurley alright? Is he?
Well, the thing is,
Don't mince your words, Inspector, please. You don't mean to say that Mr. Sholmes is...
No, the operation's done and dusted. It's just that, well...
Out with it.
Yes, ma'am. They use something called a general anesthetic. It's the latest thing. Renders the whole body insensitive. The whole body? Anesthetized? Is that even possible? It means the operation can be completed while the patient is fast asleep.
Goodness, in the Empire of Japan, we can just manage to provide laughing gas for a tooth extraction.
The trouble is, the latest thing isn't always the greatest thing, if you follow my meaning. We couldn't get the medication to work at first, so it took hours for him to nod off, or so I hear. And now that the op's finished, they can't get him to wake up, apparently. Oh no.
Oh my.
No one knows if it's the anesthetic still in his system, or if the bloke's just plain exhausted. But anyway, all they can do is stand back and watch until he comes around again.
Hurley?
The moment he opens his eyes, Your Ladyship, I swear, I shall get word to you. What a surprise. Even in matters of life and death, Mr. Sholmes has to do things his way. Okay. I think that was all. That was everything, right? Did we miss something? We got everything right. Let's just check. Iris, do you have anything more to say? No. Oh, Iris' story manuscript. The Hound of the Baskervilles. Maybe you can tell me more about this manuscript. Yeah, can I present it?
Oh, my manuscript.
Mr. Sholmes said he deposited it at Windy Banks and he had.
But it's so strange. What is it about this particular story? I worked so hard on it. Why would Hurley say I can't publish it?
I'm afraid I have no idea. All you can do is wait until he's ready to tell you, I suppose.
Oh, maybe. It's because Hurley isn't in it enough. Maybe I didn't give him enough good lines.
Yeah, maybe? I wish I could say that definitely isn't the reason, but I can't. Wait, why would I say that definitely isn't the reason? What? Do I know something about that? There's blood on this one. This is the ticket that Gina brought in here yesterday.
Yes, having been entrusted to her by Mr. McGilder 2 months earlier. Article deposited, one gentleman's overcoat.
And the other redemption ticket was in the pocket of that coat.
Yes, for a small box deposited 2 days before the omnibus incident.
Could that have anything to do with all this? Who knows? Maybe you can ask Iris to analyze the blood on that? Would you mind if I showed you this, Iris? It's really boring.
Oh, I don't really like boring things.
Ah. It looks like Japanese modesty is easily misinterpreted by young Western children.
I mean, it does like... Who does like boring things? No one wants to be shown something boring. Come to think of it, you're always introducing things with, this is boring, but it's a bad habit, you should stop it.
I'll be sure to let the entire population of the Empire of Japan know on my return. Culture clash. Hello, there's a blood print here.
Mr. Naruhodo, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's something rather troubling here.
I've noticed, alright.
The red smear, you mean?
Yes, it looks like blood, doesn't it? I wondered if Susato-san had picked up on that. Well, in that case...
Yes, we need Iris.
We should show this to her before we forget. Okay, now we can show it to her. Great. Alright.
Oh, that looks like blood.
I would say it's from a gloved finger. Almost certainly a glove, made of leather.
Well, don't worry, Runo. You can leave the rest to me.
Purple. Look at that.
Yes, it's a color we haven't seen before, isn't it? We simply must add it to the portfolio of blood samples. It could be an important clue. Although, it would be nice to find out whose blood these different colors correspond to at some point.
Well, this particular stain of blood.
Oh, you've had an idea, haven't you? But do you know whose blood this is?
I mean... This is the redemption ticket for what exactly again? For the gentleman's overcoat. The gentleman's overcoat belonged to make money. McGilded was his name, yes. And if I remember correctly, the bus driver, the omnibus driver, took the coat to the pawnbrokery, right? So... maybe I do? Yes, I have an idea whose blood it is. Not from the color I turned, but with a little deduction.
That's right, I think it's clear. Iris, you know as well. You first, Runo, what do you think it belongs? Who do you think it belongs to?
Alright, I believe that this is the blood of... Magnus McGilded, Gina Lestrade, Thrice Fired Mason, Pop Windybank. Okay, the bus driver is not on the list. Well, in that case, it could be Gina Lestrade, right? Pop Windybank? No, why would he be bleeding? Thrice Fired Mason. It could be some blood. Came in contact with Magnus McGilded's gloves. Well, Gina Lestrade and Magnus McGilded weren't bleeding at least, so... The only one who was bleeding was Mason, right? Thrice Fired Mason...
You don't sound very sure of yourself the way you trailed off there.
Oh, was it wrong? Well, it was 2 months ago now, that case. And of course I'd never met the victim, so I'm struggling to remember his name. He was definitely thrice fired, though.
The victim of the omnibus case? Yes, his name was indeed Mr. Thrice Fired Mason. But that would mean that this bloodstain was left on a ticket 2 months ago.
Yes, I think it was. Gina brought this ticket here to Windybanks yesterday. I'm suggesting that the bloodstain was already on it at that time.
So it's a smear of blood from the time that Mr. Mason was killed 2 months ago. Something else is coming back to me now. Mr. McGilded was also wearing leather gloves that night.
Now I ask you, what good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fella bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about me gloves now, was I? I reached out to give the man a hand. Oh yeah, it was in our evidence. Even completely forgot about that. It certainly does look like a leather-gloved thumbprint, this mark. But we know that Mr. McGilded had no injuries at the time anywhere on his body. From which we can conclude that any blood on the glove belonged to the victim, Mr. Mason.
Mr. Naruhodo,
you sound just like Mr. Sholmes. You're over-flattering me. Minus the quirky slip-ups, I hope.
Yes, I think you're right, Runo. Very well. Let's make a note of this.
And now what? Now what? Now what? Do we go back to the prison? Gina doesn't appear to be here.
I believe she must be in questioning at the moment. Oh, but wait a minute.
What is it, Iris?
Well, if you examine the scene here carefully, there's another possibility, isn't there? Ginny could have slipped the key from the jailer when he wasn't looking and escaped.
Oh.
Oh my.
Why would she do something like that? It would only make her situation worse.
Calm down, Runo. I was only joking, of course.
Oh. You had me worried there. I thought it was a great deduction.
Yes, it must be your way with words, Iris. You're so wonderfully persuasive. Perhaps you don't fully understand the weight your words carry. Oh dear, I'm sorry. I suppose a light-hearted great detective is a contradiction in terms.
Well, in the same situation, I'm sure Mr. Sholmes would just have thrown his head back and guffawed. Guffawed? I'm not entirely sure that's helpful, Mr. Naruhodo. Well, anyway, it looks like we won't be able to talk to Gina for a while. We should try to make progress with our investigation in the meantime. Oh.
Yes, come along then, Runo. Susie?
Wait, I thought we were done investigating. I can't examine here. Anything? Okay. Wait, this one says if you let your concentration slip, you might miss what people say, so... Well, I thought I talked to Gregson about everything, right? Yeah. Maybe I need to present something. What do you think of Iris's new story, unpublished story, The Hound of the Baskervilles? Is that what I think it is? Your ladyship's latest?
Yes, my latest story is called The Hound of the Baskervilles.
A most fascinating title, your ladyship, fascinating, and I don't suppose... would there be any mention of my humble self in the tale this time?
A good question, I can't really remember.
Oh wait, I thought you wrote this thing.
I see.
Well, when would you, Lord Ladyship? I just await its publication with eager anticipation. You needn't worry, Inspector. I'm sure if you do appear, you won't be doing anything particularly remarkable. Oh, burn! You looking to be arrested, Sunshine? I didn't mean it like that, and even if I did, you wouldn't have bitten her ladyship's head off, would you? Okay. What about this ticket? Inspector Gregson, could you give me your opinion about this, do you think? We don't tend to share, Sunshine, not with the general public.
In that case, Grexy, how about some herbal tea?
Lovely. Very much. That really hit the spot, your ladyship. Okay. Well, what else do you want? We've shown him this already. A redemption ticket issued from the pawnbrokery. Do you want something? Do you want this? Inspector, what do you make of this? Oh, what have we here then? A redemption ticket for an article deposited here, is it? Looks like someone ran out of office stationery and wrote a ticket on whatever paper was to hand. Yes, this is the ticket from McGilded's overcoat, the one that little diver turned up with yesterday. Oh, actually no, it's not. Really? I think you know better than me, do ya? No, I didn't mean to,
Ryunosuke right, Grexy, it isn't the same ticket.
Of course it isn't, I never doubted you, Lord Ladyship. So, what's all this about then, if I might be so bold as to ask?
There's a second ticket.
A second one? It seems that Mr. McGilded in fact had another article in storage here at Windybanks. Is that right?
I think we need to discuss this further with the inspector, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh good, because he's ever so easy to talk to. Don't worry, we have Iris here. This ticket was in one of the pockets of Mr. McGilded's overcoat. You mean to tell me? Yes, there was more than just a music box disc, it seems. I should have insisted on Aless taking it back to the yard and examining it properly.
Well, according to the details on this ticket,
Mr. McGilded deposited another article here with Mr. Windybank. Yes, I can see it written here. A small box, was it?
And do you have any idea where it is, Grexy? Any idea at all? It's another article belonging to Mr. McGilded. It could be an important clue.
Well, yes, I suppose it could be. Please stop looking at me with those big turquoise eyes, all full of hope and expectation. It's too much pressure. I'll lose me marbles. I'll go barking. Are you okay? This is no time for dog impressions, Inspector. There's enough sauce from you, Sunshine. There's one thing that springs to mind. According to this ticket, the redemption deadline's already passed, hasn't it?
Oh yes, of course. Articles are only held for 2 months. So the small box will no longer be in here then?
That's right. It's been forfeited.
Which means it could be on the shelves in the front of the shop, where the forfeited items are offered for sale.
Yes, the shelves in the front. We must search them at once. You're wasting your time.
Oh.
There are dozens of little boxes out there, hundreds even. We can't possibly know which one might have been McGilded's. That's information not written in the ledger.
Well, I think we should at least have a look, just in case.
Of course, Your Ladyship, of course. Very sensible of you, I'm sure. This is getting old.
I nearly jumped out of my skin there. How could Mr. Windybank set such a wicked trap?
I doubt he set out to scare anyone.
Is that really the time? I think perhaps we should pay Gina another visit soon.
Oh?
Her trial is tomorrow. We must establish whether or not you will be defending her.
Oh, the visiting time at the prison will be ending soon, I guess.
I think we should ask her one more time. She may have changed her mind. Don't you remember, Runo? You told her she could flip up the representation papers if she didn't want to be... if she didn't want you to be her lawyer.
Really? Did I really say that?
Yes, you did. The deadline for submitting the paperwork is fast approaching.
In that case, we had better hurry back. Okay, but wait, what about the shelves? Do we want to look at the shelves again, real quick?
Yes, this is where all the items that have been forfeited by their original owners are offered for sale. That's right. They've all got little price labels on them, but there are so many.
I wonder if the small box this ticket was for is still on the shelf somewhere. The box that McGilded deposited here just over 2 months ago.
Even if it were, finding it promises to be very troublesome indeed. There are so many boxes. It could be any one of them.
Mr. Shulman said that pawnbrokers was the safest place to store anything, more secure than a bank's vault. So perhaps this small box of Mr. McGilded contained something of very great value.
Well, if that's the case, he'd probably have kept it locked.
So then we need to find every box with a lock and break them all open.
Yeah. That sort of misconduct would get you arrested. I won't let that happen.
Okay, this takes me back. It's been some time since the Sato-san last threw me. Yeah, we need to reuse that animation, right? Okay, let's go back to the prison. Ah, Gina, good. You're back. Ah.
The police must have finished questioning her then. Oh, how was it, Ginny? Was it awful?
Eh? Oh, don't bother me. Thank you for the papers you signed before. I meant we were able to investigate at Windybanks.
Oh, right. Don't you want to know how we got on? We've been ever so busy.
What's the point in asking? Won't change what everyone's saying, that I did it.
That's not...
Oh, Gina, you're making Iris cry. Gina, we came to ask for your final decision.
Eh? What decision?
About tomorrow's trial. Will you let me defend you or not?
I must submit the paperwork now if you'd like Mr. Naruhodo to represent you.
Right, I see. She's really lost her fight all of a sudden. But I know what that fight feels like. The worry is just so hard to bear. Oh, alright then, blimey, give it a rest with my eyes, Iris. So come on then, fill us in. Who done it? Unfortunately, we don't know that yet. You don't say.
We don't know yet, Gina. But Mr. Naruhodo and all of us know that you are innocent of this crime.
And while we haven't yet managed to work out who the real culprit is, there are a number of interesting facts that we have managed to establish.
Oh yeah? Like what?
Well, for example, the reason for you being there in the first place. I think I know now why you broke into Windybanks that night. Isn't it because she wanted to prove that the manuscript wasn't there for Iris? It looks like I'm going to have to take some evidence that clearly reveals the reason and thrust it in Gina's face, or I could present it to her calmly, I suppose. Okay, wait, do we have any evidence?
Eh?
Yeah, her story, I think. We found this in Mr. Windybank's storeroom. The manuscript of Iris's latest story.
Ah. Oh, right. Well, that's good then.
Curiously, the storeroom at Windybanks showed no sign of being ransacked for items of value or the like, with one exception. The box file that housed this manuscript. It was you, wasn't it, Gina, who broke open the box containing this manuscript last night?
Oh, eh?
You were determined to find out whether or not the Hound of the Baskervilles was really there. That's the real reason you broke into the storeroom last night, isn't it?
Ah!
Why don't you tell us what happened, please?
Oh, right, yeah. This Baskerville story, it's the latest Sholmes adventure, right? But it ain't been printed yet. So I figured it's gotta be worth a fair few pieces of silver, right?
No, that's not it, Gina. Oh, man.
Oh yes, at least 5,000 pounds.
What? What? So, you intended to sell Iris's manuscript, did you?
No, Ginny, how could you? I'm gonna cry.
What? Wait, no, hang on. Of course I wasn't gonna sell it. All I wanted to do was find out if the manuscript, or whatever you call it, really was there or not. That's the only reason I was in the place.
For Iris' sake, isn't that right? Ah.
We knew why you'd done it from the start, Gina. Of course we did. Oh, Iris did also know, but she pretended not to. Oh.
But I knew you wouldn't do anything mean like that, Ginny. I just knew it.
Oh, you little devil. Well, when I saw the manuscript in the storeroom, it reminded me of what you'd said the night before.
Grown-ups do a lot worse than that, believe me. Barefaced liars, a lot of them. You just ain't realized it yet. I'm telling ya, that mental script ain't at Windy Banks. You'd soon see if you had a look. If I'm honest, I have wondered if Hurley's telling me the truth sometimes. I mean that I sometimes wonder if he might have hidden my manuscript somewhere I don't know. Even though it's wrong of me to doubt him. Oh, Ginny, that was so sweet of you. Alright. I'll tell you why I did it. Just stop looking at me like that, Iris. It wasn't because of Iris, that's not why I did it. I just wanted to know the truth, that's all. Come on, Gina, why are you like this? You wanted to know if Mr. Sholmes was being honest, if he'd really deposited the manuscript at Windy Banks? It's like I told you the night before. I never had a father. But Iris's lot ain't like mine. She's got a dad, only she can't see him. And I reckon that's gotta be harder. Oh. That's why she writes her stories. They're about her dad, really. Really? That's what it sounded like to me anyway, last night when I was listening to what you were saying. Stories about Daddy? You mean they're not the adventures of a great detective? So much as the adventures of a great detective and his trusty partner. Well, that's how I see it, yeah. You're so thoughtful and so kind, Ginny. Yes, and we never thought any differently, did we? Look, give it a rest, will ya? I hate it, all this chummy nonsense, do you hear? I hate it. Oh, come on. I don't trust no one, right? That's how I work. Because if you don't trust no one can let you down. So leave me alone, go on, Scarpa! I hadn't noticed until now, but it's unmistakable. Right there on both sleeves of that overcoat. Are some very suspicious red stains. What? Why are you looking at me like that? I think it might be worth presenting some of our other findings in that area to Gina now. Okay. What? Other findings? Huh? Like blood samples? What? Those stains on the sleeves of your new coat, Gina. They're blood, aren't they? Not that I know whose blood yet. What? Blood, Mr. Naruhodo? You don't appear to have any obvious wounds yourself, though. So could it be blood that splattered from Mr. Windybank when he was shot last night? Let's not beat around the bush here. This trusty friend of mine will get results much faster than anything else. Take it easy, Iris. No need to shoot me. Don't move, Ginny. I'm going to shoot. Oh, whoa. That's a lot of blood. Oh. Oh my. What the... Forget the sleeves. The whole coat is covered in blood. Of course. The black color of the fabric was masking the stains. That's why we haven't seen them until now. And the blood has reacted with the chemical to turn a purple color, which matches one of the samples we've already collected perfectly. Yes, now let's see, who had the purple blood? Aha! Yes, it was the brickmaker Mr. Mason, the victim of the murder case 2 months ago.
I knew it. That's evidence, right? Evidence that Mr. McGilded killed Mason. I mean, we weren't doubting that fact. What are you all on about, the victim? What do you mean? You were there in the trial, weren't you? What the heck?
It's a rather uncomfortable situation, Mr. Naruhodo, but I think this makes things quite clear. It means the omnibus case is finally solved. The truth about who really murdered the brickmaker, Mr. Mason, is revealed. Oi! Would someone explain what's going on? Stop telling half a story!
We can see now that the victim's blood is all over Mr. McGilded's overcoat.
But in the trial 2 months ago, the defendant said this in his testimony.
No, I asked you, I was what good-hearted, so I wouldn't rush to help a fella bleeding from his stomach. I wasn't about to start worrying about me gloves now, was I? I reached out to give the man a hand. But if you look at this overcoat now, it's clear. These stains couldn't have arisen from Mr. McGilded trying to pull the victim to his feet. No.
If that was what had really happened, the blood wouldn't have splashed all over the front of the coat.
The only explanation for this pattern of blood is that it splattered over McGilded's coat when he stabbed the victim in the stomach. I've tried to run from the truth for long enough, but there's no escaping it now. The true culprit in that case, Mr. Mason's killer, was Magnus McGilded.
Mr. Naruhodo,
that horrible case is solved at last, and I helped the man walk free from that trial. I used all that twisted testimony and all that sham evidence to prove his innocence. How could I have let that happen?
Runo, did you believe him, though? Did you believe Mr. McGilded was innocent?
I believed. Or rather, I think I was trying to believe. I wanted to. Because believing in those you represent in court is a defense lawyer's greatest weapon.
A weapon?
Before we came to Great Britain, a great friend of mine taught me a valuable lesson.
You mean Kazuma-sama?
Listen, Ryunosuke. We lawyers are only human. We can't know for sure what is the truth and what is a lie, which is why we must resort to our primary weapon. An unwavering belief in our clients. That's all we really have.
Unwavering belief?
Only when we truly believe what our clients tell us can we fight with everything we have for their cause. In any battle, there can be no victory without faith. So I believe you, unwaveringly. What's funny, Gina? Sounds like in this empire of Japan you come from, everyone must be soft. Well, come on, look at the mess it's got you into, believing in that bog trotter. Yes, I inadvertently helped a murderer walk free. Well, at least you've learned your lesson now, eh? And believing in people is never worth it. Someone always stabs you in the back in the end. As soon as you let down your guard, you've had it. That's a terrible way to live, though, Gina. Take a leaf out of my book. Believe no one, get hurt by no one.
Gina, may I ask you something?
What?
I'd just like to make absolutely sure. What would you like us to do with these representation papers for tomorrow's trial?
How many times do I have to say it? Rip them up and chuck them away.
Are you really sure that's what you want?
I bet that's what he wants. I bet that's what he wants and all now, Mr. I'm a believer lawyer over there. Don't forget it was me in that trial 2 months ago. I led everyone up the garden path, didn't I? And you're telling me you can believe in me after that? Not likely.
Well, Mr. Naruhodo,
a lawyer's primary weapon is an unwavering belief in his clients. Ultimately, it comes down to whether or not I feel I can trust Gina after everything that's happened. And I trust her. I do trust her. Gina, let me say it again. Please allow me to represent you in tomorrow's trial.
Eh? Are you half-baked?
Not at all. You've not once admitted to committing the crime, have you? What's more, I believe that you're telling me the truth.
Seriously, Mr. Naruhodo. Didn't you hear all of what I said before? I'm a born liar. Fibs just trips off me tongue. And I'm a diver, don't forget. I pulled the wool over your eyes 2 months ago and I got you into all sorts of trouble. Why would you ever trust me now? I just don't get it.
Well, you helped Iris and I believe you have a good heart.
Gina, I do understand why you choose not to put your trust in others. But I assure you, there's more to this life than you yet realize.
What do you mean?
The world we live in is full of people you would do very well to trust. People who won't ever let you down.
Eh? It's true that I'm just a student of law and I'm certainly lacking courtroom experience, but I can promise you this. Whatever happens, and until my very last breath, I am completely on your side. What do you expect me to say to that?
Ah! Then it's decided. I will take these papers now and carry out the necessary preparations for tomorrow's trial. It would be a shame to throw them away now after it's been penned with your name so beautifully.
Do what you like. You Eastern Latta are... I don't know what you are, I don't get ya.